One.
I'll do that one more time. This will be like the one cut in it.
2. 3.
We already did that joke before.
Did we really?
Yeah, we did.
Fuck,
we did
that's
it
lame.
for. We did it for. I don't remember.
Morbius?
We did it for Morbius.
Damn it!
That's literally our intro to Morbius.
What a fucking waste
Wow.
of a good bit.
I know.
Oh, because that movie was terrible.
Guys, welcome back. We're back. We're finally back. I hope you missed us. It's been a long 2 months of us not filming. This is our Riffage video of where we just talk about things we've been watching and other things we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry I've been gone for so long. Problem is we filmed for a few things and then fell behind on editing, and quite frankly they weren't relevant anymore. So I think the last video we filmed was before She-Hulk, and we were ranking all of the Marvel shows before She-Hulk. Yeah, you haven't seen it.
And probably never will, to be
will.
honest. I mean, at this point, that's
maybe
long in the archives.
Maybe we'll do it again just as after some more come out, and just kind of then do a ranking. But we thought that would be a fun thing to do before She-Hulk came out. It just literally never materialized. We couldn't get the time to edit it and finish it before... basically, by the time She-Hulk came out, we had too many other things going on in our lives.
And a lot of content.
A lot of content.
And as well, so...
As I said before, we're not exactly professional YouTubers or content creators, so it's not the only thing we do. This is our hobby, and we love doing it, but sometimes things fall behind.
Yeah.
So that being said, we just wanted to touch base on some other things we've been talking about. Big one I want to talk about is Clerks 3.
Okay.
So I've tried talking him and doing a video for, and
just haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet, but it's not his fault. It was limited release, and even when I saw it alone in a theater by myself.
You did.
Literally by myself.
That being said, you also didn't invite me, and that's why we didn't do Clerks 3.
Well, true. That is true. Very true. It was also a very last minute decision because the reason I saw it by myself, the reason I saw it by myself was because it was limited release and it's Clerks fucking 3, and I'm sure there's tons of people who care. I really care. And it was playing locally, and they took it out of the theater that's close to me, then put it in the theater that's close to him. And it was a very last minute decision. But that being said, it was wonderful because I got to see one of my favorite directors, basically his masterpiece, by myself. It was like a private screening for me. And
was there not a lot of people in the theater?
No, literally I was by myself.
Oh, wow.
I was the only person in the theater.
Oh, wow.
Literally. Because I literally went and saw it by myself. It was kind of like a spur of the moment decision. Oh, they're playing it at this time, at this theater. Mm-hmm. It was a 7 o'clock showing or 7:30 showing. I literally left my house at like 7:15 to make it over Metro Point. Mm-hmm. Watched it, loved it. I'm bummed because I got there a little bit late, and so I didn't get to see the intro. Kevin Smith did a whole intro on it.
Okay.
And but it was amazing because it was like a little special screening for myself. And
that's cool.
If you know me, you know I love Kevin Smith. I think he's not the best director in the universe. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I grew up. I went through a phase when I was younger, when I wanted to do film and stuff, loving independent films like Bully, Loser, Clerks, Kids. I know it's problematic, but whatever.
Doesn't the kid get AIDS at the end?
He does, actually. Yes, he does. And then he died. And he actually killed himself.
Definitely
true story.
Kids came out in the 90s?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Late 90s, so that was a big issue during that time.
Yes, it was. And that movie does
personifies
deal with that a lot.
That time.
But it's I have to say this hands down, it's Kevin Smith's masterpiece. After all that he's gone through in the last few years of his heart attack, making
that's right.
Making Jay and Silent Bob reboot as like that was what he felt like was like my victory lap of I survived this heart attack. I can't go out making Tusk, which is also a great movie. It's a lot of fun. And even when I saw Jane Silent Bob reboot, they're like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back has a special place in my heart, even though it's not my favorite in the Askew-universe. I love that movie, and it has a special place in my heart because I watched it a lot when it came out. I was just around that age where that humor was very like, but and he's only grown, and he's only grown with his humor. Mm-hmm. And Clerks 3 it's his masterpiece. I am not ashamed to say I was bawling for most of the movie.
Well, I mean, you're the only person in the theater watching it, so who's going to judge you at that point?
No judgment like elsewhere, because it's beautiful and it's his fucking victory lap.
Swan song.
I mean, if this was his swan song, if it was the last movie he ever made, mm-hmm. I'd be happy. Like,
okay,
it'd be like
that good.
It's that good.
Okay.
This is how fucking good it is. I was so obsessed. Like, I love Kevin Smith, and I will watch Kevin Smith talk. I don't listen to all of his podcasts because he does 8 billion of them.
He does. Very active.
But he's done a lot of talks at colleges, and that sounds weird when I say it that way. It sounds like I said toxicology.
Oh, that's honestly what I thought you said.
Yeah,
talks at colleges.
He speaks a lot at colleges, and he has released DVDs of those where he's doing Q&As.
Yeah,
but they're always very interesting. As much as a person who loves filmmaking as much as I do, and I will literally I go to sleep listening to documentaries about filmmaking. That's how much I love filmmaking. That's why we do this podcast, is how much I love fucking filmmaking. Mm-hmm. But I found someone had posted some of the end scenes of that movie. Obviously, fucking super, don't do it. Mm-hmm. Super spoilery and super, what's the word I'm looking for? Pirated. But I've watched those scenes again just to feel something.
Really?
It's that fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Kevin Smith because I think, one thing, the sense that I get from him is that he's very thankful of the position that he's in. He loves interacting with his fans. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you get to a level of fame that he has, I think it's good to see individuals like him that are still humble and still very appreciative of the opportunity that they have created from themselves, don't get me wrong, but that's also been presented by them through their creation. You know what I mean? And so I've always enjoyed Kevin Smith movies.
It's a underdog story too, because I mean he basically got known by making a very a $15,000 film, mm-hmm. all black and white and super low budget, super, the people on making that film, people acting in that film didn't know how to act, didn't know how to make film. They were basically high school students doing this movie, and it became a cult sensation, a fan favorite of a lot of people, even people who don't necessarily love Kevin Smith love Clerks. Yeah. And create an entire universe out of that. Even before the MCU was even a twinkle in anybody's eye, or DC or Warner Brothers ever had let's do that too. You could argue Universal Monsters, but is that really a universe? No, they just sort of made movies and then threw a tagline on them. Yeah. But yeah, so that's God damn. And in fact, the other night I almost went to go see it again because they were showing that, and Kevin Smith was in town to do a Q&A, and I'm really mad I had to miss it. I had to miss for personal reasons, unfortunately, and I'm really mad about it. Still salty, but I was pretty pissed. Anyway, but there's been, other than that, there's been so much other stuff going. I mean, Prey, which I finally saw.
Oh, Prey! My gosh, what do you think?
I loved it. I didn't exactly love the design of the new Predator. Mm-hmm. I like that old.
New?
Not new, but new.
Timeline.
Yeah, timeline. I think they evolved to have like a different face. But it was really good. And it was actually great because I actually got to watch it with the kids.
Oh, really?
I let the kids watch it.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I thought Prey was really fun. I mean,
mainly because I looked at the rating and it was like, okay, it's not R.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought it had a great story, and it just, Predator. I think what they started to do with Predator for a while started to get out of control with like Aliens versus Predator. Then, which I mean, they're fun. They did a comic line with them. They did video games. They started doing a lot with it. The movie was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it just, I don't know. It started to get out of control. Then they did. Was it The Predator?
Yeah, so they did Predators.
Predators.
Which was the one on not the island, the planet.
The planet that's the one with
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, yeah. And that one just
and also Topher Grace.
It was, yeah, that's right. He's a serial killer or something, right? Yeah. And it was a fun movie, but it just started to get too out of control for me from what the initial Predator was.
The Predator, which I still haven't seen.
I don't think I've seen that one as well. But I feel like with Prey, they kind of brought it back to its roots.
Yeah, they kind of did a lot of the same tropes they did from the first Predator and Predator 2.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, like kind of different story, different timeline, like. And I felt like getting back to the roots of that because it kind of just started to get a little out of control. So I think this movie, what worked well for me was going back to that. It did have the elements and the feel of Predator 1 and Predator 2. Definitely. And that's what I really liked about it,
Although be it like, Aboriginal Indians.
Yeah.
Not exactly the feel of Predator 2 because that all took place in the city, but
well, no, you know what I'm saying.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I'm only making fun.
Yeah.
What we've had Rings of Power. Have you watched any of that?
I haven't watched any of it. No.
Wow, yeah, it's.
I heard.
I'm behind like 2 episodes. So.
I heard it's kind of like low budge in regards to like cinematography, costume design.
It looks really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually the best part.
Really?
My only problem with it is they've gone down the Game of Thrones route of like focusing like, okay, now let's touch on this character. What's this character doing? Problem is, you're only in like 3 episodes in. You're like, I have no idea who any of these fucking people are anymore. Because you keep cutting back and forth between like, we're like, so because okay, think of the formula, right? Game of Thrones starts off. It's you're focused on the Starks, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Lannisters come in. They go to King's Landing. Then it starts kind of breaking off, and then finally, like as you go on through a few seasons, you're like, okay, Arya's over here she's doing this. Mm-hmm. John's over here. He's at the wall. He's doing this. The other Starks are over here doing this. And the Lannisters doing this. Like, but by this point, you know all the characters.
Yeah.
Rings of Power very much starts out with here's Galadriel. She's doing this. Then she's doing this. And she's doing this. But that's just the first episode. And even in the first episode, it breaks off into like 4 other people.
Really?
You're like, what the fuck is going on?
So I think the only thing with Rings of Power that I'm really excited to see about it is supposedly they're going to introduce Sauron. Yeah. And you're actually going to get to see how he looks physically. And that's something I'm actually interested in seeing, but not enough to pick up the show, to be honest. Because as you stated, there's a lot of content coming out. So on the topic of Game of Thrones, have you been watching House of Dragon?
I'm 1 episode behind.
Okay, so House of Dragon, what do you think so far? I'd love to hear it.
I'm actually really enjoying it, surprisingly.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more politicky.
Yes, 100%.
Right, the original Game of Thrones was politicky.
Yeah, but
it's this is the focus, and it's actually funny. Andy, if you remember Andy, our former third guy,
yes.
He actually pointed out to me that if you remember Game of Thrones, they spoil what happens in Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they talk about the Targaryen Civil War and what happens to I cannot remember her name. I keep wanting to call her Daenerys, and it's not Daenerys. Rhaenyra. Mm-hmm. See, easy to mix that up. Daenerys, Rhaenyra. Mm-hmm. It's literally like 2 letters off.
Yeah.
Joffrey, when he's showing Marjorie the Sept and the crypts in the Sept.
Yeah, he talks about
he
how
says Rhaenyra's grave and what happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. I actually do now remember that because we had a discussion about that
still
as well.
kind of cool as long as they don't like completely go the route that Game of Thrones did and kind of rush it and make it whatever. Like it's kind of cool knowing a little bit where that ending is going.
Yeah, I think my only
no spoilers obviously.
Problem with the show is
I just feel like going back and watching that episode of Game of Thrones and like having like oh motherfucker
is that I can't really find a character to root for. I feel like what they've really done with this is
true.
Characters are making these quick turn decisions within these episodes, and it's happening so fast that like I can't.
Do I bone my niece or do I not bone my niece?
Yeah,
I won't bone my niece.
And so it's just like that's the only issue that I'm having with it. But the thing that I do enjoy about it has the feel of Game of Thrones. The acting's great.
Yeah, so far so good. I love Matt Smith.
And honestly, like he's carrying this show right now. Like really, he's great. Although I do have to say, Viserys, I can't think of the actor who plays his name off the top of my head right now, King Viserys, but he's also doing a really fantastic job.
You're right.
In his role.
Him and also Rhys Ifans.
Yeah,
he's been
doing
really
great
well
as Otto Hightower. Yeah. But it's an enjoyable show, and I'm really enjoying it. There was a long time to get off that Game of Thrones hangover, and to be honest, I'm really excited that this show came in because Game of Thrones was honestly arguably the best show of all time.
Yeah, but dead.
And it's done, and I'm glad to see.
No, but I mean, dead is in like the popularity of that show. Dead.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And maybe one day, if we get around to doing these videos a lot more frequently, and stuff, we'll do an episode on Game of Thrones and our opinions on it in totem. Because I would love to do that. We've talked about doing it actually a couple times.
Yeah. So I think
something else. What else has been? Well, fuck it. Like while we're here, let's talk about She-Hulk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we wrap it up with talking about She-Hulk? So She-Hulk,
we both have pretty low expectations.
Super low expectations. I know that one of the biggest things that well, I had super low expectations. Maybe you didn't, but I know that one thing that you touched on specifically that you were worried about with this show was the CGI. So how has that played out for you? Are you still?
It's still not good. I mean, don't get me wrong. They've cleaned it up a lot in certain instances, and I get it. Like, and it's a problem. There's articles that have come out like just the people who work in the CGI industry. I guess I don't know how to word that really. People who work in special effects, they're being worked to the bone right now because everything is CGI. And there's not enough people who want to do CGI work and kind of just be computer animators. The first episode, Hulk looks great because they already had the model. They had the model, and so he looks fine. Abomination even, he looks fucking great. She-Hulk, on the other hand, it's like there's times where she looks great, and then there's other times where, whoa, it's PS2 all over again. Like we're back down to PS2 cutscenes. But I can forgive that. I can always forgive not so great CGI. Always and forever, because it is what it is. Even though like we've had leaps and bounds in that industry, in that kind of art form, and cinematography and stuff, like not everything's always gonna be perfect.
Yeah,
that's fine. I might mention it if I notice it, but at the same time, this isn't just a notice it type of thing. It's kind of pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like I get it. These guys are being worked to the bone, and especially with everything Marvel's coming out with, like everything's gonna be a lot of CGI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creating a new CGI character, especially one that's supposed to be very smooth skinned. You can't like Bruce Banner or the Hulk. He's stubble and like again, they already have the fucking model for that, and they've had the
Yeah.
model for that for 10 years. All they had to do was refine it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creating a new CGI model of a fully CGI character, it's hard. It's hard work, and it's
Yeah.
and you know.
Yeah, and
Can't make it
I agree with you. There's definitely some points in the show where it looks wonky, and to be honest, for me,
but it doesn't take me out of it.
yeah, no,
at all.
it doesn't for me either. And it really, when we talked about when we watched She-Hulk, and I told you after the first episode, I was like, I am completely not interested in the show because the first episode, everything happens really fast.
Yeah.
But then after that, this show, I think it found its groove.
Mm-hmm.
It stuck to that pattern. And since then, it's worked really well.
Right.
And obviously, the last episode that just came out,
We're filming this literally the day after the Daredevil episode.
yeah, the Daredevil, and it was good to see Charlie Cox again reprise his role as Daredevil. And I also like the way that they're handling Daredevil right now in this. I know that you said you're not a fan of the yellow and red.
Not red. I never have. It's fine.
Loved it. I loved it. I just thought it looked great. They obviously
No, it looked great. Don't get me
they
wrong.
kept the original Netflix look, changed up
a
the
little
colors,
bit, change it
a little bit,
changed it
yeah.
up a little bit, but it's still it generally
Looks
it's
the same. Yeah, they just made his character a little bit more lighthearted.
And I have my theories on that and why how and why the Netflix series connects. But that's not what this video is for.
That's not what this video is for. But yeah, so She-Hulk. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying it right now, and I'm really interested in seeing how it's going to play out with the finale.
And a lot of
it has.
So far, I mean, barring WandaVision was a lot of fun, but it was like barring that one, because WandaVision was a lot of fun, but it got very, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
This has been just a lot of fun, and I love the way they've dealt with the fourth wall breaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's been, especially in this last episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just pointing out that the episode should be over because doesn't this feel like the episode should be?
Yeah,
that was really cool and really, really well done. Breaking the fourth wall is very hard to do. It's not something a lot of characters do in movies. I mean, yeah, obviously Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
And movies like, say, Stranger Than Fiction, Break the Fourth Wall. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes people out of their comfort zone. But, because...
Wayne's World.
I'm forgetting... Yeah, Wayne's World, obviously, yes. And I'm forgetting her name.
The actress who plays She-Hulk. Yeah, she's actually... very endearing, and she does a great.
Great. I'll stop trying to focus on her name because there's one name popping in my head, and I know it's not that.
but she is.
And now I can't get that one name out of my head.
Well, then just say it.
No, because it's completely wrong.
Okay, but yeah, she's very endearing, and I think she's doing a really good job in this show. So
and especially as Jen, and
yeah,
the social commentary in it is actually really well done.
Yeah,
it's not heavy-handed. It's very topical. It's not heavy-handed, and I think it's really, really well done. It actually speaks a lot of truths.
Yeah,
and I'm actually really, really enjoying it. And she's fucking adorable, and I love her.
Yeah. Can't wait for the finale on that one.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really hoping there's like a big reveal in the finale.
Same here, and I think there will be. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for taking the time to.
Anything else?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything. Not for me.
No.
Really.
I binged Schitt's Creek again for like the third time. So.
That's not relevant right now.
There's other stuff, I'm sure.
Thanks for joining us in this Riffage episode, letting us get some time to share with you and catch up with you guys. And like we said in our earlier video that will be coming out, or if it hasn't come
this will come out first.
This will come out first.
And
we're definitely going to be putting out content more often. So we do hope that you guys tune in and enjoy what we're putting out. So have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.